is Tuesday, 17th of December, 2019. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This will be my last video of the year. We're going out of town for a week coming up here, so I don't anticipate rushing in a video before New Year's, so it'll probably be about the first week of January or so. I'll give an little update after I get a chance to do some carving on the quarry here. What I've been working on is the west wall, the background of the quarry. I've got it all plastered and painted, and I got it kind of staged up also with a few trees. Looks pretty good. My vision's coming true to it, so it looks really nice. So with that, we'll show you some of my how-to and sped ups and then the final what it looks like. Thanks for watching, you guys. I have some black marker outlining the road and threw some trees in there to kind of mock that up a little bit. You can see how the road will fade off. And okay, underneath DIIV over here, the entrance to the train museum area, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the background in. Back here, the rolling hill, I'll go ahead and put some foam bits and hot glue that down, and then use some plaster of Paris cloth and homemade sculpt-a-mold, and we'll get all this background scenery done back here. Alright, I put up a little bit of the red rosin paper. I learned from the north wall over there that no matter how careful you are, you end up getting paint or plaster or something on the wall. And got some foam against the west wall there. I've stuffed some old paper towels in between also to give it some form. Here's a view from standing in the doorway, staring down the west wall tracks. You can see how they're going to be slightly hidden. And I'm still not sure how far I'm going to come up with this. This is where the crusher is going to be, so I don't have to build a lot. It'll just look like it's dumping right there. But I'm still not sure how I want to kind of fade that in yet, how much room I want to give this. So we're just going to plaster up to this point, and then I'm going to take off and do this upper section here also. No, it's not chunky coffee. I got my burlap soaking in a old coffee cup, and I got 2 heaping teaspoons or tablespoons of plaster of Paris and 1 heaping tablespoon of hydrocal. And I went ahead and wet down the burlap this time around. Last time I used it dry. This time I wanted a little bit more form out of it, so I'm wetting it down. Alright, I got a little cellulose blown in insulation. I've got the big old bag of this stuff, but just brought up a little bit now I don't think I even need that much around the whole layout, but I got the big old bag of it. And I got some hydrocal, and I'll put some plaster in it here also. And we'll mix that up and we'll start putting that against the west wall. Alright, I've made up a a batch here. This is about 2 handfuls of cellulose, 2 tablespoons of hydrocal, and 1 tablespoon of plaster of Paris. This is really the first time I've made anything like this up. I did a little experimenting over on the loop area, but not too much, and I don't really recall the results. So this is, we'll try out some of this stuff here. Just put it on my fingers. Work it in. It should leave a nice hard surface and something for the glue to stick to when I scenery. And it should work out pretty nice. Another thing I do too is dry mix everything together before you add the water and work it into the fibers really good. Just take a minute and mix it together, break up the cellulose chunks real nice, and just a minute's all it takes. It's nice and hard already. I'm only putting this on probably about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch thick max. Pushing it down fairly flat when I'm working it in. Got this big piece of gauze that I've unwrapped to just a single layer. I came home with this about 4 years ago. I think they had me bandaged up with it in the spot. Big old wad of it. So I kept it. And what I'm going to do is I'm cutting it at about 4-inch wide pieces and then placing it on top of this ridge line here, and then taking some Aleene's tacky glue and putting on it, and then a wet large paintbrush, damp anyway, and just kind of dab it in. It's so fine that any messing around with it will really mess it up. So what this is for, once this dries, I'm going to take the plaster of Paris, and this will give it a little bit of tooth for that plaster to stick to. And along this edge here, to make a nice clean edge, because this is removable, I'm just going to use some thick blue paper towels and run that along the edge line, give it a nice edge. Okay, I got some blue shop towels stripped up, and there's a joint right here for this pop-off section. So this is a batch of hydrocal that I've got mixed up, just straight hydrocal, so it's nice and hard so I can use it on the edges. And here's the other end with the first layer of plaster on it. I used burlap and thick white paper towels, the real thick kind, those rag in a box type. So it's a little bit easier to work with and make the plaster just slightly runny, not syrupy, but kind of like pancake batter maybe. Just a slightly thinner. That way it absorbs into the paper towel real good, and a little easier to work with paper towels and burlap pieces. Here's a close up. It's still got the tape over the track, but kind of get the gist. I'm standing in the middle of the limestone quarry right now. Yeah, I decided to do the backside first, the west wall, so I could get a nice blend. And when I start carving the limestone quarry. Once you begun